Are you tired of the same old ChatGPT prompts? Yes, it could summarize an article, it could write me an email, but that's old news. We've all been doing that in our first 30 minutes of using ChatGPT. In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 practical use cases. No programming, no writing blog posts. It's not for me. I dug through my entire ChatGPT history to see what I actually keep on using, and these were the prompts that kept coming up again and again. So no useless party tricks, no glorified Google searches. Whether you're new to AI or you're a power user, I have a prompt for you. A few things before we start. I'm using Perplexity in this video, but I'm using Claude 3.5 Sonnet as the engine powering it. You can use this for any AI. And lastly, I'll have all of the prompts down in the description. Copy and paste them, dump them in all your favorite AIs, use them, follow along. Let's get into it. Everyone who I mentioned this to, their eyes immediately light up. And if you're a gamer, you are soon going to be very, very excited. Now, here's the prompt. Massive wall of text, don't worry. The core of this prompt is we are going to create an achievement list for something that we're learning. Because the learning process can be quite stretched out. And as a beginner, I feel like, man, I'm pretty awful at this for a long time. So how do we keep up that motivation? Well, let's borrow what video games have done. Let's say I'm trying to learn Spanish. Create me an achievement list for learning Spanish. Bronze achievements count from 0 to 20 without pauses. Let's see, order a coffee in Spanish. Okay. Hold a 2-minute conversation about the weather. Write a 500-word story. Do you see, if you have the urge to pause the video right now so that you could read these yourself, then you already know the power of the achievement list prompt. Use this for anything you want. This is a big boy, so I'm gonna walk you through it. Essentially, it's a prompt where I tell it, I'm going to describe to you a problem that I'm going through. And what I want it to do is write a news story of someone whose problems and challenges parallel mine, but are distinct enough such that they don't feel like an exact copy. The hopes here is that I can get a new, fresh perspective on my life and the challenges that I'm going through. All right, so I just riffed an example here. Basically, I'm a guy who's really nervous public speaking. I shake and tremble, and I'm worried that I might get fired from my job because no one's going to trust me to lead the team, especially after having been promoted to this position. I am freaking out. What is AI going to do for me? So, this is a short story about someone who also goes through similar challenges. Maria, the violinist, who cannot perform to the level that she wants to. Now, this prompt is quite versatile. There's a lot of different ways you could take this. If you are happy with this story, you can leave it there. One twist that I like to do is rewrite the story in the style of a Reddit post reply. Maybe instead of the third-person perspective, you want a first-person internet-style perspective. Write it in the style of someone asking for advice. Maybe seeing someone asking for advice and you being the one to give the advice to someone who's in a parallel situation could help you see how you could change up your own life. This next prompt is perfect for anyone who's in an unfamiliar professional setting, you just don't know what questions to ask, you've ever had an awkward moment before. This is for you. Picture this, you're at the end of a job interview and they ask you the dreaded question, do you have any questions for me? You have no idea what to ask. You're like, do I sound dumb if I ask this question? Do I sound dumb if I don't ask a question? What do I do? So the next prompt is, let's say I'm going to speak with a hiring manager. I'm not familiar with how to assess if the place is right for me. What questions can I ask them? You can come to your interview prepared. Let's say another setting. I'm going to speak with a barber. What haircut I want. What questions should I ask them? All right, initial cut. What hairstyle would suit my face shape? You can always come to prepared, whether you're talking to a real estate agent, a lawyer, a doctor. You better assault them with a barrage of questions. A lot of people have used AI as a therapist of sorts. Now, I get it, it's very convenient, it's judgment-free. However, we have a lot of the answers within ourselves, and I think there's a lot more power in using AI to help us contemplate a problem. For anyone who insists on using AI as a pseudo-therapist, I still have a prompt for you. This is a prompt that I call the motivational interviewing prompt. What is motivational interviewing? It is a therapeutic modality about asking questions to find out the client's intrinsic motivations and help them develop their own internal motivation to change rather than succumb to external pressures. It's a bit much for me to walk you through a whole conversation. I'd suggest that you just copy and paste this prompt and play around with it yourself. Here's what I found. I have found that it helps me more accurately distill my core motivations around a topic. Maybe there are things that I tell myself matter, but when I dig deeper, they in fact don't. And then other motivations surface to the top. And I often leave with a plan of how it is that I'm going to advance forward in my goal. Rather than having AI use very generic emotional consolants, experiment with having it adapt highly specific therapy modalities. Play around with a prompt. Ibrahim, I already know ChatGPT can be my personal tutor. I'm talking about real depth here, okay? Because let's talk about what not to do. This is what most people do when they first start. I'm trying to get better at drawing. How can I do that? Look, ChatGPT is gonna be my personal tutor. We both know I'm going to read through this and do nothing. You need to get exercises that are for what you need, the levels that you're at and what you're struggling with. I struggle with getting perspective right. Give me 3 specific exercises I can do in the next hour. All right, now we're getting somewhere. The box grid exercise, doorway studies, the eye level challenge, 100%. I'm going to get so much more out of it than browsing our art fundamentals. Have a structured learning approach. People who've seen me use this prompt and this technique, when they watch over my shoulders, watching me type, they're like, wait, you can do that? Yes, you can do this. So watch. My favorite part. Do not elaborate. Do not elaborate. And look, when something is this concise, we could just say more. You can fuel your addiction for more and more ways to reduce decision fatigue with just 4 letters. It's great. Use this prompt. I like other alternatives such as be concise. This is great too. Let's talk about an example of what I wouldn't suggest doing. Something like, I'm thinking about moving to New York City. I'm feeling anxious about it. Look, AI defaults to validating, which I think is, it's a legitimate emotional support technique. However, we have so many answers within ourselves and there's so much depth that can be unlocked while still using AI. Instead, we have, give me several journaling prompts to help me contemplate whether to move to New York City and my anxiety around it. Using these journaling prompts is going to give you a much deeper perspective, understanding of where you're coming from. And let's say that at the end of this, your thoughts are still fragmented, frayed, it's all stream of consciousness. Go ahead, copy, paste, dump all your answers into a follow-up. Ask AI, hey, feeling a little hazy, unclear in my thinking. Can you help me consolidate this? That is it. Those were some of my recurring prompts. I got gold nuggets. I got so much more out there, but these were the ones that I felt were unique, that popped, that weren't covered in other tutorials. If you used any of these prompts, if you like any of them, please check the description. They're right there. Copy, paste them, have fun with them. Comment down below. Leave a like. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.